This is not the Russians against the Americans, black against white, women against men, or the vaccinated against the unvaccinated. Instead, it is all of us humans against the monstrous criminals that are doing everything they can to drive us against each other so that our attention is distracted from their evil doings.
Hello, I'm Dr. Simone Gold, and welcome to the Gold Report. I'm joined by my co-host, April Moss. I want to thank our generous subscribers and donors for making the show possible. Please like and share with everyone you know. April.
Well, today we're going to discuss the work of international attorney Reiner Fuellmich. He is an incredible human being. Take a listen to what he had to say a little over 1 year ago in September 2022.
It is always darkest before dawn. Dawn is when the lights come on. This means, of course, that things will get better, that we will get rid of the mask mandates, social distancing, and most importantly, and very, very dangerous shots. We have to get rid of them. But this will not happen if we stand at the sidelines and wait for someone to turn on the light or the cavalry to come riding in and save us. This time, we are the cavalry. And this time, we have to turn on the light. I'm saying this not because I had a dream, but I'm saying this because this is what more than 150 scientists, experts, and others from all over the world have told us in our Berlin Corona Investigative Committee over the course of more than 1.5 years. These people include Dr. Mike Yeadon, formerly of Pfizer, Dr. Robert Malone, who invented the mRNA vaccines, Professor Luc Montagnier, Nobel Prize winner from France, but also Professor Alexandra Henrion-Cote and Vera Sharaff, both of whom we've heard today. Now even politicians, members of the European Parliament. These people are my and Viviana's guidestones.
So thank you, April. Reiner Fuellmich is originally from Germany, obviously, but I understand he had a home in California as well as Germany. And he's barred. He's a member of the bar in California. And I got to know him personally several years ago. And I liked him a lot. And I still do. He was a tremendous class action litigator attorney. Being a class action litigator is an extremely difficult subset of being a lawyer. Very few lawyers have the intellectual capacity or even the work ethic to take on class action lawsuits. If an attorney, I'm about to say physician, an attorney who has distinguished themselves like that is really top of their game. So he ended up suing Deutsche Bank. He ended up suing Volkswagen. And in both of those cases, he won. He was absolutely a hero. I think he was incredibly popular, an absolute hero. And I kind of vaguely had heard of him. But in 2020, when all of this stuff kind of started happening, he actually stepped in the void of leadership and started clamoring for justice and to hear from the victims and et cetera. And also was just kind of calling the government out on all of their lies. And I actually thought that he would really kind of take over and become very popular in the mainstream just because he had this tremendous credentials and pedigree behind him. But of course, that's not what happened. The government essentially didn't listen to him. The people in charge wouldn't listen to him. So he did something very creative, and he started something called the Corona Investigative Committee, which was investigating the legitimacy of the global response to the COVID-19 pandemic. They collected unbelievable evidence to show the government lies. I myself was involved in a very small piece of it, but he went through all of the evidence. He went through, remember the days of PCR testing? Remember how we kept hearing about PCR testing? And he put the lies out there for all the public to see with all the evidence that the PCR testing was filled with fraud, filled with lies. And he did all this, and he decided to do this as a kind of a mock trial. What he really wanted was for the government to do a real trial and put the real offenders, up in front of the world and in a real trial with witnesses, but he couldn't get the government to do that. So he did essentially a mock trial. He did the whole thing. He had all the evidence. He had the witnesses. He had people play the part of the prosecutor, people play the part of the defense, et cetera, et cetera. And you remember this.
I do. And I mean, actually, it's public knowledge. We have the links to the Rumble account with all of this. So the audience can absolutely go check this out for yourself. But this was a mock grand jury. Now, a lot of people were scorning him. Those on the other side of the narrative were scorning him, saying this isn't even real. Well, it was never intended to be real in the sense that there would be absolute, criminal charges brought against these offenders, which are all the ones that we know, the globalists, the ones that were head of different agencies here in the United States.
I just want to, first of all, I want to throw out, I think it went on for 2 weeks or something. It might have been 1 week, but it went on for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I did find that very troubling that people mocked him for doing this and said it wasn't, quote, real. He never said it was real.
Exactly.
What he tried to do is he tried to get the government to do their job. When the government didn't do its job, he then stepped in the place of that. So I'm sure he had to raise money. He had to hire lots of people to play the various roles of the defendant and the prosecutor. He put on a real trial, and you could actually watch it.
To watch today's full episode, visit thegoldreport.com.